This first tip will save you so much time, and that is to unravel it all the way and flatten it out around the edges. When you put it on, it's going to be a tight fit, so any space is going to help. So make sure it's as flat as possible around the edges. The next tip, this will save you a lot of time as well, and that is use your HVAC tape. Put it towards the edge of the vent right up to the end. And this is going to give your clamp something to grip on and prevent the vent from ripping when you finally do get it on. So now we're going to flatten it out a little bit more, grab our clamp, put our clamp around it, and it may be difficult to put it on, but just keep flattening out the edges and keep trying. The biggest trick to doing this is don't get frustrated. So now I am lining it up. You may have to give it a little twist. Just make sure you don't rip the vent on the metal because it could be sharp around the edges. Give yourself enough space, and you're going to have to keep flattening it out and adjusting it, and then finally it will slide on perfectly. Even though I've been doing this for 8 years, it still takes a couple of tries with some of these vents because they are a really tight fit. There was barely any space behind the vent, so I had to get it as flat as possible, and then it slides right on if you give it a little bit of a twist, but I still have to flatten it out. I'm telling you, don't get frustrated if you have to flatten this out a bunch of times. That is just what it takes to install one of these. So now let's try again. It should slide on nice and smoothly now. There we go. Slid right on. You want to go up like 3 or 4 inches so you have space for your clamp. So now we're going to get our clamp there. We're going to hold the clamp with our thumb and hold the vent on with the rest of our hand, and then use our other hand for the drill. Get it on as tight as you can so it's not going anywhere. And now once it's on there, the last step is going to be take your HVAC tape. The tape is not to hold it on. The tape is just to seal it through. You want to make sure these are 100% sealed, especially with these gas dryers. So now line it up, get half of it on the metal of the pipe and half of it on the metal of the new dryer vent that you just installed. Try to get it all the way around in the back and then on the other side, and then flatten it out with your hand. Make sure it is completely sealed, and when we're done, we're going to turn on the dryer to test it. So now we're doing the same thing on the dryer side. You want to make sure it is flat. You may have a little piece of wire hanging off. This is going to be super annoying and get in your way and make it even harder for you to attach it. So if there's any little bit of the wire hanging off, make sure you trim it all the way to the edge so that it's not going to get in your way and keep moving in front of it while you try to attach it. So now it's the same concept as attaching it to the wall. We are going to flatten it out with our fingers and put our tape right up to the edge again so it doesn't rip and the clamp has something to grip on. Make sure it's flattened. You may have to do it a couple of times, taking it off and flattening it. This one actually fit on perfectly, so I was happy about that. Usually it's pretty hard to get it on. And now the same thing, you're going to hold the clamp and the vent securely up to the dryer with one hand, and then use your drill to tighten it onto the dryer. So we're tightening it all the way as tight as it can go without bending the vent or ripping the dryer vent. So it's on there good, and then now the last step is going to be a piece of tape so we can seal it. Again, the tape is not to hold it on. Don't just use tape to hold it on. The tape is to make it so it has a complete airtight seal so none of the lint or dust or heat or anything gets into the house. And watch this video here to see the best dryer vents.